I got news for you. If you don't realize this, you are a free person. You're not a slave. You actually, believe it or not, have the right to talk to anyone you want. You wouldn't think so by some of the comments I get. I get comments on some of my videos or some of my live streams from usually young people who say words to the effect of, who am I to talk to some hiring manager somewhere? I'm nobody. I don't even have the right to talk to them. So you telling me that I could just talk to them, that's crap. Tell me what I want to hear. And that is that I'm a nobody. I don't have the right to speak to these people. But yet, although I'm absolutely sure of that, I've never actually attempted this, right? So that's what I get a lot. I get that a hell of a lot. And listen, 1 year, maybe not this year, but I hope that you will wake up and you will look around and you will see how people seem to get hired around you. The odds are is that you have family members that got jobs that were not posted publicly. They got the job because they had some kind of personal connection, maybe a former coworker or something like that. Maybe one of their former coworkers is now the boss somewhere else, this kind of thing. And they didn't apply through official channels. They just called up the boss or they called up a coworker and they said, hey, dude, get me in. Right? Now, if you don't believe me, just look around, okay? You don't have to take my word for anything. Just open your eyes, look around. This is real. You have the right to talk to anyone you want. What I do, my day job, which is, being a management consultant, I built up my consulting business by doing informational interviews with CEOs. I reached out to CEOs I didn't know. They didn't know me. And I did a ton of these. And a lot of those people ended up being my consulting clients. That's a sort of higher level version of this, but it's the exact same principle. And I can tell you something else. If you've done something, that gives you supreme confidence because nobody can tell you that it can't be done when you've done it. Okay. So this is another reason why I encourage you to go out, not just listen to advice all the time, try things. Okay. Accomplish things. No one can take it away from you when you've accomplished something. You've done it. You've seen it with your own eyes, done it with your own hands. No one can tell you it doesn't exist or it can't be done. Jeff says, I'll be wearing my suit and tie on Friday when I go to this in-person interview. Yes. Well, the big question is, are you going to wear the squirting tie or the exploding tie? That's the only real decision you got to make. I'd go with the exploding tie. It's just like a real tie, except it explodes. Perfect to liven up job interviews, board meetings, anything you got, really. Keep them guessing, Be the loose cannon in the room. Some people want to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to be when you got an exploding tie. Kiwi Magician says, I did that. They said they were looking for a women. Okay, good. So, someone had 2 women's at the interview is what you're saying, basically. Or that's what they wish they had until they tripped over the English language and fell on their face. But that's good because we can just speak in emojis. So you don't really need to worry about that kind of thing. Alex Rosca says, I'm assigned with a 3-month operator, and while he operates the production machines, I'm aware of what materials I need to take from pallet and transport black plastic boxes back on the pallet. So it's a meeting of the minds then. Is that what I'm understanding here? Ask him about the self when he's talking to you about pallets, and just see what he says. Marishka says, yes, networking is very challenging for me. Listen, networking is simply talking to people. That's all it is. A lot of people have this preconceived notion that you just have to know a million people. It doesn't work like that. What are the odds? Okay, let's pretend for the second. Let's do a thought experiment. Let's pretend that you knew 400 people. Okay, well enough that you could call them up and they would see it's you and they'd pick up the phone and they'd say, hey, Bill, what's up? Imagine you had 400 people in the world of business that you could do that to. That's really pushing it. I don't know if people really have that in real life, not 400 people. But I'm sure you've met more than 400, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that you feel connected to on a personal level. They know who you are, they know all about you, and vice versa. That's kind of a tall order. Now imagine you had that kind of relationship with 400 people, so they would want to help you out, right? What are the odds that if those 400 people were distributed across 400 organizations, okay, that right at this moment, okay, one of those 400 people would be looking to hire, and they'd be looking to hire someone exactly like you, okay? What are the odds of that happening? They're not great. And I mean, that's even if you had that relationship with 400 people. A lot of people, they probably have a relationship like that with maybe 10 people. You know what I'm saying? Not 400. So, this fallacy that you just have to know people and then bam, you'll have opportunities coming to you left, right, and center all the time. It doesn't work like that, at least not in my experience. The idea is that if you want to make something happen, you reach out, right? And we've covered how to do that before. If you're impatient to see what that's like, there's a video that's linked in the description box under this live stream, in the description box of this live stream. It's a video on my channel. It's called How Successful People Get Jobs. Check out that video. That's the guide for introverts on how to make this stuff happen. Okay. It shows you kind of what it's like. Okay. So it's what direct outreach looks like if you're an introvert that anybody can do. It's just about knowing what's appropriate to say to people, what's the professional thing to say, and who to go to, and all that kind of stuff, right? So you certainly have the means to do it at your fingertips. It's just the knowledge is what most people are lacking. So check that out if you're interested. That's what I'm referring to. Okay. You can reach out directly to thousands of people if you live in a city in your hometown. If you're like a highly specialized person, you do highly specialized work, there may not be thousands of people, but if you're some say you're like an accountant or a customer service person, very common jobs, very common skill sets that are needed in every industry, you can literally reach out to thousands of people that have potential to hire someone like you. You know what I'm saying? Now, you're not going to know those people, but you reach out directly, you discover them, you don't know them, and you reach out to them cold, right? Now, it is possible to do this for introverts over social networking. You don't have to talk to a single person, not on the phone, not in person. You can do this from the comfort of your own home. It's just a matter of knowing what to say, right? If you watch that video of mine, that shows you how to do it. The only big question now is what to say, right? And that's where the learning has to happen for a lot of people. And then the idea is that they will invite you in if there's an opportunity, right? So if you do end up going down for a job interview or an informational interview or anything like that, it's because you're invited in. They said, hey, we should talk. Can you meet me, on Thursday or something like that, right? Now, if someone reached out to you like that and they're a hiring manager, they're like a manager of a department of people at a local company, would you go? Most people would say yes. The person wants to talk to me. They have the power to hire me. Sure, yeah, I'd go. So then it's just a matter of having the conversational skills to handle that well. I understand for some people this might be like a tall order. If you're just starting out, you're in your very early 20s, you're an introvert, you've never done anything like this. I certainly can understand that it's intimidating, or it might seem intimidating, but the reality is that this stuff is a lot easier than it sounds. I'm an ex-CEO. I mean, I was a CEO of a company. Am I that unapproachable? No. If you approach me and you say something that makes me want to respond, it's not a problem. If you talk to me like you're a spam email, then I'm not going to respond. And I'm a typical human being in that regard.